Greetings, Gunslinger Posse, and welcome to Branded for January 16th, 2025. As we bring to the stage, wow, that was abrupt. Hey, every week it's something new, isn't it? As he's Tom Manas, head coach and general manager of the San Antonio Gunslingers. I'm Ralph Judkins, your host of a show all about the San Antonio Gunslingers of the Indoor Football League. We ask you to like and subscribe on YouTube, like and follow on Twitter and Facebook, and sound off with a comment or a question for Coach. Any questions or comments, Coach, before we get started as we anticipate, hopefully very soon, the arrival of the commissioner?
Oh, no. Just anxious to have Mr. Commissioner come on and tell us all about some exciting news. I'll tell you what, I just got back from the trip, and I'm thrilled to be able to share what we can share.
And that's going to be cool. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're watching Branded, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital, a tradition of excellence and a legacy of caring. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Branded. We may be having some audio technical issues that I did not expect. Still not now. And hopefully we have audio now. I just don't, I'm seeing levels on my end, and I'm not quite sure why we are not seeing them going out otherwise.
Can people not hear us either?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking they're telling me. Is
it just no sound on the commercials?
Hard to tell.
Who is it? Jody?
Yeah,
Howard?
Jody and
Jody. Stop, Ralph. Jody, can you hear us talking now?
She says it's working. Okay.
So is it just the commercials? Okay. Yep. All right. You got to remember, Ralph, my partner, this is like an every week thing. So it's just part of the deal, guys. It's part of our cachet.
For better or for worse. And
know, thanks everybody for putting up with us.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And I'll be in town soon, so then he'll be within striking distance. So we'll get this.
Yeah, and I'm kind of concerned because our featured guest has not appeared in the green room. Mark telling me that that we have no sound in commercial, and I guess that's okay.
Not really.
because
No,
we
it's
have
Ralph.
we have great commercials.
Okay. Anyway, let's go to our topics. Okay. Let's talk about the trip and stuff and do
Yeah.
that. And then we'll get hopefully the commissioner will be on shortly. Busy guy. I hope he's either traveling or doing something. But I'm pretty confident we'll have him on without a doubt. So, okay, Ralph, what do you got?
Well, let's talk about your travels. And on Facebook, you put out that there was a new service being provided by Delta Airlines that was going to make your legs much, much happier.
Oh my God. I tell you what, Susan travels internationally quite a bit. And she always comes back and she said, oh, this, I have a 9-hour flight. I have a 7-hour flight. And, but it's okay because they have these pods. And I go, what's a pod? And a pod is, it takes the place of first class. And what the pod is basically you have your own little, enclosed area, which is just awesome. And it comes, it's got a bigger screen TV that comes out, and it's got the remote control for the chair, and it can go all the way flat like a bed. It can go 3/4. You can lift your legs. You can take your shoes off. You got the whole thing. Great headset, not the plugins. Just everything is just, remarkable. So I was giddy about it. I was like all excited. This is going to be awesome. And going was, it's a 5-hour flight. So it's, it takes its toll on you, especially when you got, knees and back and all the other stuff. But so blessed, so lucky to do that. And so we got there. The food on the plane was great. The service was great. A couple glasses of wine with lunch. It was a nice trip. I mean, if you're going to go, that's the way to go, So yeah, it was a first and hopefully not the last, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And how were the legs? How were the knees and
legs
back?
were great. I mean, I don't know if I'm sure a lot of you travel, and the one thing they were always saying to me is when you have a flight that long, it's really, really important to get up and walk around a little bit, because you can have issues with clots and this and that. And, so I got up and I would walk to I guess what would be the galley and, grab a water and then walk back down, take the long way around. 'Cause it's not like you can cut through aisles with this. You got to go all the way around with the pods there. And but it was, as long as you're moving around a little bit, I guess every hour or two, and I had my Fitbit on and it was telling me, hey, get up, get some steps. And so I'd get up and I'd walk around and it was good, no complaints. And then getting there, Susan had ordered me an Uber. And, it's like one of those deals where you get your bag and they're sitting right out in front. And I've never had that happen before. I usually have to wait. So everything was going great. The hotel is the Gila. It was the Gila Wild Horse River Resort and Spa. I wanted to make sure I had all that. Basically, it was a really large Native American casino in Phoenix. And I left 2 feet of snow and 8 degrees, and it's 70 and the palm trees are swaying in the breeze. It was nice to get there. And the hotel was fantastic. They had the biggest weight room and health, like gym I'd ever seen in a hotel. It was like a whole floor. This thing was ginormous. I mean, it was as big as a Planet Fitness. Okay. It had all this stuff in there, and it was great. And their sports book, because don't forget, I got there Sunday, and then Monday we had the Rams in town. So, if you wanted to watch the game on a 30-foot TV, their sports book was going. I was good in my room. Trust me.
30-foot TV.
Oh yeah. It takes like an entire hotel wall, in their sports book area. So it was good. I didn't, my thing was I've been working on my playbook and I've been working on some stuff for camp. So I tried to use the time that we were down to work on gunslinger stuff, which I did Monday night. Now, here's where I made the critical mistake. Okay. So on Tuesday, we got done at 12:30, but my flight wasn't out till Wednesday morning. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'll go downstairs. I'll get something to eat. But all the restaurants are at the back of the casino. Now, I think that's by proper planning, I guess, is what they
Right.
did.
To get you to walk through the gaming floor.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah, $300 later.
What do you play? I never knew you played anything.
I don't play
Okay.
anything. I'm not a big gambler because from the time I turned pro, we weren't allowed to gamble back
Right.
in the day. And then, now we can't bet on, we really shouldn't, especially as a coach, bet on sports. I'm just putting it out there. I don't think that's right. But so I'm walking by, and the only game that Susan and I really like in slots is Wheel of Fortune. And so I sat down and, put some money in. Ding, ding. Oh, I won $2, but I lost $5. Oh, I won $5. I lost 10. And it was one of those deals. So about 20 minutes later, I was down $240. Yeah, and then lunch was 60, and I went back up to my room with my tail between my legs and worked on my playbook some more. But it happens. And again, it's not a big deal, I guess, but it was fun. And that part of it was great. The best part of it, though, was meeting some new friends and getting to see some old friends in the owners meeting. I was fortunate enough, Don and James had asked me to represent them. Happy birthday, James Stubing. Also, they had something scheduled, and they were going to be out of town. And I've done this before for owners, and it was nice. It was nice seeing some guys. And then I was fortunate enough, I sat next to the new owner, the future owner of the new franchise that's going in New Mexico.
Oh.
And then on the other side of me, I sat next to the owners of Fisher Freight, the new franchise. And then Mass was on one side, Arizona on that side, Vegas across, Tulsa, all of them were the Green Bay. And it was just, and I got to meet some people that we've seen each other but never had an opportunity to talk. The owner in Bay Area, for example. And it was nice to, on breaks, to get to talk to them and, share some ideas and that kind of thing. So collaboration-wise, it was tremendous.
Sounds like a very productive meeting, and we have the commissioner waiting in the green room. And so I don't want to wait too terribly much longer. We'll go to our break and come back to talk about the substance of that meeting. We'll be back in just a bit. You're watching Branded, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital. Why do we have no sound? Yeah, I know, Coach. I know,
I'm
Coach.
not saying anything.
I,
I'm,
you
I'm
don't,
just,
you don't have to. You don't have to. Joining us now on the stage is the commissioner of the Indoor Football League, Coach Todd Tryon. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Commissioner.
I'm doing real well. Appreciate the invite.
Hey, you know what? And I apologize because I had called I'd called Todd up and I said, "Hey Todd, would you be interested?" And he said, "Yeah, I might be able to make it." And then I posted something said he was going to be on the show, so he had to. But I apologize for that. It wasn't intentional. I just was visualizing you being on. That's all.
Hey,
But
all good. Happy to be here.
good. Well, listen, Mr. Commissioner, here's the thing. One of the things about when you're involved in these owners meetings is that there's a lot of content of it that you can't share. And it's because it's either premature or just hypothetical or just collaboration, right? But there are some things that we talked about that you can share. And I'd love for you to be the one to break the news to our audience on it.
Well, you bet. Anytime you have, this is considered our annual league meetings. This is when we kind of hash everything out. As we recap our last 4.5 months since the championship game meetings, and we talk about the 25 season. But it's also a place where you forecast forward. And so we're talking about 26 items, or the 2026 items, getting our dates set so teams could already be out at their arena, getting their dates. So we got that infrastructure in place, and we review any new partnerships that have come into play because we've picked up a few here in the off season as far as the vendors go, which we'll be making some announcements on that. We talked about an exciting new way to watch our game, which we have a really exciting announcement that we'll strategically release when the timing is right. We're going to have a new website platform that we're pretty excited about. And so, we cover some of those details. This is always when we talk about new rules, our ops manual update, our bylaws update. And, that's, I think, what Coach here is alluding to is we made some pretty drastic rule changes. And I would say it's probably about time we did. And, we'll send a press release out tomorrow that'll be kind of detailing this stuff. And I'll kind of give an overview here shortly. And so, Coach, is that what you're alluding to?
As a coach, anytime there's rule changes, and especially if you're a defensive-minded coach, I think all the defensive coaches in the league, right, after tonight are going to be very, very happy to hear what you have to say. But also, it keeps our game fresh, and what continues to separate us from other indoor football leagues, right? And what I got out of that meeting most is we are the major league of indoor football, and that it's not even close. It really isn't. And how you've structured this and how the ownership has committed to this for the, longevity of this league and the strategic planning of this league moving forward. That's the biggest thing coming out of that. I wrote you a note and I said, hey, man, I'm all in. This is, you guys got to figure it out. You really do. So yes, what you can share, I guess in more detail, other than the fact that there's going to be a new way to watch us, and other than the other facts, we can talk about the rules in general, right? So I made my little cheat sheet here so I wouldn't forget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the rule or the topic, and you're going to tell us the new rule if you can.
Okay. So, Coach, before you start, just understand the reason behind a lot of this is, we're always looking for pace of game. Okay, this is a fast break game, and how can we speed it up, and how can we eliminate so many penalties, and a lot of our rules. And so please understand, our game was designed back in 1998, the indoor game, not the arena game, the indoor game. And so a lot of our rules have stood since then, even though the game of football and outdoor football has evolved. And so what we're trying to eliminate was, too many challenge calls, which is usually because of the rule design was really catered towards the offense. And so it really restricted the defense because back then they wanted more points. Well, today's game kind of creates that anyway. And so a lot of our rules we have in play was to restrict the defense. A lot of these rules were tough for new players to learn. They were tough for the officials to I don't want to say learn, but when you're going from the outdoor game into our game, there's just some different rules. Those are the ones that were bogging down the game as far as challenges go, and they were confusing to the consumer. The consumer is sitting there and they're used to watching football, and when there's a flag call or challenge happening, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he was 2 yards offsides. How's that not offsides?" Well, you get a grace period in our game, and so that was the basis behind some of these rule changes: is pace of play, eliminate flags, make it easier to officiate, and make it easier to consume.
Well, 100%. And I also think these rule changes we have educated fans in our league. Make no mistake about it. But this takes away some of the confusion, let's say, right? Like you were talking about with our fans too, because I hear it from our fans just as much as you probably hear it from coaches, right? So this, I think, will nullify some of that. All right. So the biggest, well, not the biggest one, but the first one is in regards to kickoff. So in the past, if you kick the ball and it went out of the back of the end zone without striking the field, the first time it was on the 20, your second infraction, it was on the 25. Now, as a coach who always goes for the deuce, you're giving them a pretty good little advantage there. Moving forward, the new rule is?
We're just eliminate the 25-yard line spot. So every time when it'll be spotted at the 20, just keep it consistent. It forces the officials to always have to, write it down. Was that the 20? Was that the 25? And it eliminates about a whole page on our rule book, believe it or not, by just going with one consistent spot.
Love it. Okay. This is going to be this was a rule, and then it was I think it was a rule in the IFL, and then it was a rule in the IFL, and now it's going back to being somewhat of the same rule with some conditions. The positive yardage rule in the last minute of a football game.
We tried it for a couple years, eliminating it. We felt it may or may not be a safety issue. We're just allowing, if a team's up at the last 60 seconds, they want to kneel the ball and kneel it out, they could do that. It became a frustration, I know, to a lot of the great fans out there, that they really like that positive yardage rule, and so we implemented it back in the last 60 seconds of the game. If you're ahead by 14 points or less, and you have the ball, you have got to get positive yardage, or the clock will automatically stop. And so if it's 14 points or less, you've got to get positive yardage, or it's an automatic stop the clock. And so it just keeps the game playing till the end. It gives that team who is limited in timeouts a chance to stop the clock, and it's excitement. It adds excitement to our game.
Well, and we as coaches believe, and we were given scenarios during the meeting how you can score 14 points in a minute, right? And so it is a possibility. Your odds aren't great, but it's still a possibility. So it does keep you in your seat for sure to see how it turns out. Okay, the illegal blitz rule with the linebacker rushing outside, out of the box.
So once again, this was a call that was difficult for our officials, because we've got a box, okay? And the rule was, and actually last year we changed it to where the linebacker had to blitz with inside of the alley, is what they called it. So you had to stay in the box. That's the only place he could blitz. And so what had to happen before the play started, and as the play developed, the official, when the linebacker blitzed, the referee was the one who had to watch what gap he blitzed in. And so as he's watching that, he's probably missing a hold, or it could be missing something else. And so we eliminated that rule to where now that linebacker can blitz, as long as he's declaring, he can go outside, he can go inside, it doesn't really matter. And it frees up that official to watch the lineman.
And we were talking about it. My staff was talking about it, and we were mentioning how on screens with the running back or flares in the flats, now it's going to free that linebacker to take an angle where he couldn't before, right? So we're excited about that for sure. We've eliminated a rule, which is the twist rule.
Yeah, and this is a rule that it's going to be interesting to see how the offensive linemen counter this. So we've had a rule in place since 1998 to where the defensive lineman could not twist. And this was really a rule that by rule, you had an imaginary line there from center to quarterback to running back. And if a defensive end went all the way around behind the quarterback and then the nose guard just got pushed a little one way, it was a twist. And it happened all the time. And that was a cause for a lot of challenges. Flag wasn't thrown, but because there was a created twist, the challenge was won, and it slowed our game down, and it was goofy, and so we eliminated it. We're allowing the D linemen to twist, to stunt as they move forward, and so it's really going to challenge the offensive line coach out there on how to counter it. But I know we got some really good coaches out there who's going to be able to handle it. But once again, it's just one more call that has a consumer scratching his head, like, what was that? And it's easier on the officials.
Yeah, and I love it. Absolutely love that rule. This is going to be a biggie. I think this is probably the biggest change, and I think our fans are going to love it. The elimination of the 1 yard grace for wide receivers in high motion.
Yeah, but once again, a 1998 rule. So it's always been, because the wide receiver is in forward motion, he's always had a 1 yard grace period to be considered onside. And so many times it happens to where a coach will challenge it because he's clearly a yard and a half past, but because we never have necessarily the right camera angles, the consumer's sitting there freaking out like he is so far offsides. But they end up, not calling it. And so moving forward, that receiver cannot be past the line of scrimmage at the time of the snap.
Well, his feet,
we've deemed it,
right?
We've deemed it his foot. His
Right.
foot cannot be passed. His arm could be passed. His head could be passed. His knee could be passed. Because remember, he's in forward motion as he's approaching that line of scrimmage at almost full speed. But, it's going to be a timing thing for the offense. But once again, it's probably going to aid the defense because no longer is he going to be able to be a yard further downfield getting into his route at the time of the snap.
Right.
So it's a defensive. The defense should like this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Okay, this one's a little bit more, I guess, sophisticated to the play. Which is there will be no illegal contact on the linebacker if there's contact made between the linebacker and the wide receiver inside the box. Now, maybe you can explain that better.
Yes, what happened is so many times that receiver will go across what we call the box, and he will collide with the linebacker. And it's almost a play where and it's been a flag. Okay, you can't touch the receiver. However, a lot of times the receiver could create the contact, and you can almost create the penalty. And so the linebacker doesn't know, is he coming to crack block me? Is he just running through the box on a route? And so once again, it was something that it put the officials in a bad situation on who created the contact. And so we just, we eliminated it. And so moving forward, that linebacker, if you're a receiver and you want to fly in through the box, you better have your head on a swivel because you could get met by the linebacker, and it won't be a penalty.
Right. I love it. Well, those are it, I guess, as of right now. And I know that Tom and yourself are modifying the rule book, which should be made public here the next few weeks, I would guess. And
it might be delayed a touch because, as I say, we're working on a whole new website rollout. You guys are going to love it. It is going to be extremely user friendly. And, so it'll be done by the end of the month, whether we put it out on the website or not. It just kind of depends on where we're at with that transition.
Well, if we could, though, I want to educate the fans a little bit on a couple other little things that we've done to separate ourselves from other leagues and what we do. Talk about our Adidas deal. That's pretty special.
We made a intentional approach a couple years ago to really clean up our presentation. And, it started with the dasher boards, and then it was, we've always been really good at I mean, every night I watch every single game, and I'm the uniform police. I sit here and we find, I mean, as you know, we're pretty strict on the way that they're looking. And, the next step we went was the field systems, and you guys in San Antonio are a perfect example. Your ownership group spent a lot of money upgrading that field system. It's safer. It looks great. And most teams have done that by now. We've got 2 new teams that this year will be showing new field systems. And then the final thing is we sit here and get ready for our platform to, for our fans to consume our game. We wanted the most professional look. We wanted everyone looking the same. And we struck a great deal, 5-year deal with Adidas. And so this uniform that has been released is not even released yet. It doesn't get released until the fall. And so we're the first league unveiling it or revealing it. Sorry. And pretty excited about it because you'll notice the quality, you'll notice the unity, you'll notice our presentation, and we're setting ourselves up for something here.
Yeah, when I first got here and I probably didn't have the most popular voice when it came to uniforms because I'm a traditional guy. I like them looking, all the same, and I love the NFL look. I would think I can just give a little hint about ours. We look a lot like the Buffalo Bills, uniform with the red, white, and blue. And I really do like the fact that these uniforms all kind of have that NFL quality to them, and that we are putting these guys in the best possible product. I mean, we really are, and it's exciting. So, so the uniforms, was there anything else, Mr. Commissioner, that you wanted to share with everybody? I don't want to keep you. I know you've been going crazy busy, but is there anything else that you maybe wanted to share with everybody before you go?
I would just say how excited we are for the 25 season, and especially you gunslingers out there. I mean, Coach Manaz has put together an outstanding roster. You guys are going to be competitive. I would say the negative is so's everybody else.
Yeah,
and I would not miss a home game. Every game's going to be entertaining. The hope is the flow is going to be a little better as we move forward. We've upgraded our officiating situation dramatically. We're taking our best crews. We're moving them around. So there and especially there in San Antonio, expect a dramatic upgrade in the officiating. I can't guarantee a different result. But I know that the officiating is going to be better than what it's been in the past. And, we just try to do our part as a league to provide a platform, whether you're a coach, an official, and a player, a cheerleader, an athletic trainer, doesn't matter. Our platforms to give you an opportunity to advance your life. And whether it's on or off the field, that's what our league's about. And, we don't want players in here playing forever, because we want them to move on with life. That's why we have a vet rule, is we want these players to use this as an opportunity and to move on. And, that's a platform we create. And I really got to commend your ownership group there and the Racklers and James and that whole crew. You guys do a great job. You put a great product out there. And I know this year, because you're going into, technically your 3rd year, it's going to be even better than last. And so my hope is that you guys get out there, support them, because it's going to be a great product.
Well said. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. We appreciate you as always coming on. Fans love it when you come on. I put a little post on social media. It went nuts. People were excited that you were going to be on tonight. And thanks for sharing everything that you shared with us. Really appreciate you. You have a great night, and I'll see you soon, I'm sure.
My pleasure, Coach. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
What happened to you?
Well, I figured we'd give the commissioner a little more room because he's got that lovely background and everything. And
you know what? Is he not the best or what? I mean,
yes.
The guy. There's 2 jobs I don't want to have. I don't want to be a commissioner, and I don't want to be a referee, because you're never right. But he was so transparent and so sharing on some stuff, and he just and I'll tell you what, is the DC, I am absolutely friggin' thrilled with these rules. Life's getting really good. I mean, think about it. We got new uniforms, we got new referees, we got new rules. Holy cow, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a great time getting after it. So definitely looking forward to 2025. I noticed a lot of comments being thrown out there and all that. Did we have any questions we need to address before we break?
Well, the two questions for the commissioner, and he addressed one of them about the veterans rule. And there was a question about whether there was going to be any discussion about the veterans rule. And he pretty much said,
I changed my mind. Just want you to know, I had some dialogue with several owners, and it's not financially related. I'm not so sure I'm against the vet rule anymore.
so you're newly converted. This is interesting.
I didn't say that. I'm on the fence. I was on one side of the fence. Now I'm on the fence because some of the things that were brought up had nothing to do with salary, had nothing to do with roster spots, had nothing to do. It had more to do with some of the young men that are getting in that vet tag. Okay. So, and he said it kind of there about there's a time to move on too. Right. And I don't know. It just, some things he said made sense to me. We're going to actually have a player who's been with me for several years, won rings with them, and he's a vet, and he's not going to be able to come to us until maybe early June, if he comes at all. And I think he will, but he's a school teacher, and I can't let him get fired of being a school teacher. Look, I love this kid. He is like a son to me, but he is not going to play in the NFL. I'm sorry. He's great, and he could probably kill people in the UFL too and do great stuff in the CFL, but it's just, I don't think he'd fit in the NFL. And I don't want him to lose his job. Right. And I just don't want him to lose his job. I have another kid who's got, he's a caregiver for his parent, for his mom, and she's not doing great. And he may have to stay home this year or play closer to home. And I said, hey man, if you need me to release you, I'll release you so you can play closer to home, and I understand that. Right now, if something were to happen to his mom and he's in San Antonio, he's minimally 5-6 hours away, not counting 2 hours prior, 2 hours once you get to the airport. He's 10, 12 hours away, or he can go play a couple hours away by car, right? So there's different components to things, and you got to be okay with it. And it's next man up, And then while I'm talking to that guy, I got an NFL guy calling me up saying, hey, I want to come play for you. And I said, what position do you play? And he says, I play the same position that guy who's going might not come. And then I said, oh, okay. That worked out great for me, right? And so you have to always be looking. You have to be open to discussions. That's why I don't take the 7-man vet rule seriously in the offseason. I sign the best people, and then we figure it out by the time camp starts. I'm potentially going to lose 2 of those guys, vet status guys, off my roster before the start of the season. And that's not counting the other young kids that might beat out vets in camp, right? So you got to have everybody. You got to give everyone an opportunity to do that. But if you want to take a break, and then we can circle back on some of the rules and then do whatever and get out of here tonight.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that when we come back, folks. Make sure if you have comments about the implications of any of these rules, bring it to us. Yeah, question about it. We do have one question for Mark Yamaguchi, of course. You're talking about if you're out of this league as a veteran, where can or where do you go from here?
Well, there's other leagues, obviously, that don't have a vet rule, or it's time to go get a job, a real job, and start your career. Maybe it's coaching. right? Look at Jonathan. Jonathan, if let's say Jonathan's healthy and we say, hey, we're going to sign you to come back and be a quarterback, and then he plays another year, and then he does it again another year. And what you're doing though is you get to the point, there's a place in your career where you're either putting off the inevitable because of the love of the game. And I get that. I would do it until they drag me out by my ears. Okay. But I honestly think it was a great opportunity. It's funny how God works. He puts you in touch with the right people. He puts you in situations. And I always told Jonathan, because I love the kid, and I said, when you're ready to start your career, let me know. Okay. And it's just like Chris McKinney. I told you that. I think I told you. Didn't I tell you about Chris? So Chris was a coach for me last year. And he's a hardworking, smart, very good guy. And we left on great terms. We parted ways at the end of the season. And I got a call like a week ago from probably one of the best football coaches in all of the history of arena football. And he called me up and asked me about Chris. And I spent about an hour on the phone with him. And Chris is the new offense coordinator for the Nashville Cats. How's that?
How
for
about that?
landed on your feet? Right. So sometimes adversity creates great outcome. Right. So I couldn't be happier for him. I could not be happier for him. So,
well, fantastic. Let's go ahead and take that break. And when we return, talk a little bit about the rules and implications. And God willing, I fixed the audio issue. Let's go ahead and see what happens when I push the button.
I don't believe you.
You are watching. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not exactly inspiring
No,
comments
go ahead,
here.
I hope you did.
You're watching Branded, sponsored by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital. Big hat tip to Angie Kaufman. Thank you for being a sponsor. We'll be right back with your questions and implications about these new rule changes on Branded.
We all need hot water. Some of us need more than others. So it's a good thing that State has a wide range of tough commercial-grade water heaters for your home. From standard models to high-efficiency and tankless models, we've got you covered, no matter where you live, what you do, or who started it. To install a State water heater in your home,
call John Wayne today or visit us at johnwayne.com.
Hey San Antonio, are you tired of the same old chain pizza that tastes like cardboard? I thought we were done eating paper in school. Maybe not. It's up to you. At Matanga's, we bring you flavors that are authentically Texan. We're talking about fresh dough that we made in store every single day. We're talking about cheese that's shredded in store for that authentic cheese flavor. We're talking about brisket because this is Texas, y'all. We're talking about our Texas rolls. Can't get those anywhere else. We're talking about Texas ranch because when you put jalapenos and ranch together and you dip it in with pizza, just drink it. Lastly, we got a pothole pizza because we had to name a pizza after our roads. You know what I'm talking about. Can't wait to see you soon. Find a Matanga's near you.
Welcome to South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital and Outpatient Center. Step into our operating rooms, where highly skilled surgeons work hand in hand with specialized technicians. Our dedicated team has extensive experience and expertise in spine and surgical procedures. Our commitment to patient safety is unwavering. We understand that your well-being is at the heart of everything we do. South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital and Outpatient Center, where expertise, longevity, and state-of-the-art technology come together for your health.
Hey dancers, become a San Antonio six-shooter. Tryouts are this weekend, and now is your chance to be part of something uniquely special. The six-shooters are the dance team for the San Antonio Gunslingers, San Antonio's indoor football team. From game day to community experiences, being on the six-shooters is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Build relationships that will last a lifetime and are life-changing. Go to SanAntonioGunslingers.com today for tryout information and to learn more about the San Antonio six-shooters.
All right. And hopefully we made the transition back to the third quarter. We did have some questions here. There was a question for you, Coach, that came in from Quentin Humphrey Sr. Hey, Coach, how do you pick your coaches or even give a coach an opportunity to coach for you?
We're a very small fraternity, right? And an even smaller fraternity for coaches that can coach in the indoor game. I'm a loyalist, man. My first criteria for a coach is he loyal? You'd be amazed how many unloyal coaches are out there. Assistant coaches, especially, think they can one up. I'll just talk trash on the head coach, and I'll take his job. And I can name several coaches that got their jobs that way in indoor football. And then there's, is he great at his craft? Obviously. Does he understand how to coach, I guess is the best way of putting it. And I always tell coaches, young coaches especially, do you have a coaching book? Like, do you keep a book? I know NFL coaches, when they interview, they have to bring their book with them. And they bring 4 or 5 copies and give one to the head coach, the general manager, the president, the owner. And it's basically their philosophies on all aspects of the game, how they do things, and all that. So do you keep a book? Can you answer all those questions? The other one is, can you get on the board? Can you get on the board and can you explain? Can you teach, right? Can you translate information from your knowledge and pass it on to somebody else? I guess that is a big part of it. The actual part of recruiting is a lot of referrals. Just like that coach called me up and said, hey, can you tell me about Chris McKinney? And I think he's the winningest coach in all of indoor football, arena football. He's a great guy too. He's one of my best friends. And he asked for my opinion, which is great because I rarely at this level get other coaches calling me, asking my opinion about one of my coaches. And I always tell people, I tell players this, I tell coaches, I won't lie for you. So how you behave, how you act, how you work, are you lazy, are you an achiever, are you this, are you that, all those things go into it. But I think it's all part and parcel of that. And then obviously your moral compass. What's your moral compass look like? I research your social media. I do all that before I hire somebody. I either have a personal experience with that person, or I can do enough research on that person where he separates himself or she separates themselves from everybody else. And then, the moral compass side. And then lastly, and probably the most important one is, do you love football? Like, if you don't love this, then don't do it. This isn't Subway or, a Burger King where you're doing it. This is not a job. It's a career. So I take it one step further and say it's not a job. It's not even a career. It's a passion. It's something that's got to be in your DNA. And then you go from there. So, that's how.
All right, let's get into these rules implications. Thank you, Quentin Humphrey, for asking that question. Great answer, Coach. I didn't know what a coach book was, and I appreciate that. Let's start with the first rule implication. The kick out of the back of the end zone, always going to the 20. So you have 2 ways that you can kick a person, kick and start a series. One, you get the touchback off the top of the wall or bounces inbound, goes over the back wall. And then it goes to the 20 if it flies out of the air with no possibility to return. My goodness, Coach, we probably gave up about 200 yards last year kicking wide and not making the deuce because, as you told the commissioner, we're always going for the deuce. Do you think that's going to mean more teams are going to be going for the deuce on the kickoff because there's really not a significant downside?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's something to think about. It gives you pause, but I think Kevin Guy from Arizona probably brought up the best point. When you get the ball in the 25, right, you figure if you get a first down, you're on the 15. If you get another first down, you're already down there. You're in the red zone, so it just takes 2 first downs. But when you put the ball on the 20, the minus 20, it requires you to get 3 first downs and an opportunity to score. So it takes some of the I don't know. I just always feel like every time we kicked and ball went on 25, I'm like, shit, they're gonna score. It's kind of like you're already halfway down the field. It's one of those things. Now there's obviously you stop them and you do things, but that 5 yards is huge. That's a huge change, I think, personally. But
So we'll see how that works. Positive yardage at the end of the game. This is the one rule that I personally had the most heartache about, but I guess this is just going to be how it is for the sake of excitement. I like the fact that they put 15 points, you can kneel it out, 14 points, you can't. And
well, let me be clear on something though, too. Okay. So, let's say you're down 13 and there's 21 seconds left. Okay. I'm the opposite. I'm the guy who's down. I'm the coach that's down. I'm on the field. I can look at the other coach and wave it off. Go ahead, Neil. You can concede it.
Oh,
you can concede. You can concede that rule anytime you want. If you just choose not to and you concede it to the other coach, you're fine. But listen, Tampa Bay, we scored 17 points in like 40 seconds. Okay. I've seen it happen at least 2 touchdowns. You think about what's the max you can score on one play? You score 6, right? You drop kick it for 2, right? So now you're at 8, and then you kick a deuce, you're at 10. So the max you can do on one possession is 10, right? So now you get the ball back and you onside kick.
And you recover.
And you recover, of course. You go down and score. Now it's 16 and you were at 14 and you win. So it can happen. It's
right.
it's not necessarily something that doesn't happen. It can happen. And most of our games come down to the last couple seconds anyway. Now,
right.
This rule, when I was in Green Bay, we lost the game because we didn't get positive yards.
Right.
So I've seen that happen too, right? So stop the clock, and then it went to hell in a handbag. So my point is that it can be waved off, but it's going to keep the game very exciting through that last minute of a football game when it meets those parameters. Now, if you're up by 21, I'm kneeling.
Yep. Yeah, because there really isn't.
Yeah,
it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy.
Right.
I want to skip all the defense ones because I want to take them all together because
Why would you say that?
No. I want to spend the most amount of time on them because those were the most significant ones. Let's take a look at the 1 foot with a motion receiver. I know for the gunslingers, especially in the early games of the year, we were very, very, very cautious about breaking that rule. And we weren't anywhere near that line. So I know that for our squad,
listen, there's some cheaters out there.
Right. And it's not us.
I'm kidding. Right. No, listen, you got a kid who runs a 4.3, 4.4 and he's running full speed and you're telling him to time it with the quarterback who's going hike. Okay. So I get it. But now you have to be conscious of it, which I love as a defensive minded guy, that they have to time it such. I hope Tom tells his referees, and I know, Tom, you're listening. I would tell the referees, treat it like the break glass rule you have on kickoff. The same way. Okay. If their foot crosses the line, in our case on kickoffs, if it touches the line, it's a violation. So if their foot touches the line, and I was the one in the meeting that said, well, what about their head? because if they're leaning over,
Right.
hand comes up. I didn't want that called. It's their feet. So if a foot goes over the line, it's a penalty, as it should be. And that will eliminate a ton of challenges that I lost from blind referees last year.
Yeah, there was one that I watched where literally
Yeah, it was 5 yards downfield.
the receiver came across the line and blocked one of the
He
DBs.
blocked. That's
before
right.
the ball was even snapped.
Yeah.
And
He
you
blocked
could
the
see it.
linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
remember.
literally, it's like, what?
Yeah.
You can be in our backfield? Okay, so let's get into the really, really cool part of this. When I saw these, I knew that you were going to be excited because you had told me outside of Branded that now finally defenses can scheme. You take all of these new rules together.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Then now, okay, so you can go any way you want to. So the line can do all kinds of shifts. They can
The
twist.
nose and the ends can twist. The linebacker can twist.
The linebacker can pop. There won't be any freaking umpire picks because you come across the middle like that. Now you can't blindside block. You can't decleat somebody. But
the hell you can't if a receiver is running through the box. And I will just say this out loud. If a receiver is running through the box, you better check your owner's workman's comp policy.
It's going to be fun. It is going to be
or all you slick willies that have been doing it because we couldn't touch you, right? Now you're going to do it behind us.
Right.
So you're going to, as long you can come across, but it ain't going to be a flat crossing route. It's going to be behind the box, and the same rule will apply. We can't touch you because you're past the 5 yards and you're not in the box. But I'm just putting it out there to all the great, talented wide receivers in the league. Go with God.
Yes, this year.
Because
No.
I know our linebackers are blowing up my phone right now. And they're like,
yes, yeah, they're salivating. And I'm thinking the defensive ends are the same way. It's like, oh yeah. So we can body.
Just think about this on a normal IFL play. Okay. Where you have an end, boundary end, nose guard, field side end. Okay. And a Mac linebacker. And all of a sudden, this end wraps with this guy, and the nose wraps with this end, and you've got different looks, we'll just say. You can do it all at once. You can do one side, the other side. You can do this. You can do it in the middle. Now, all these running backs that go in the flats that we couldn't, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dave Williams, you may have joined the show a little late. Is looping two players crossing still against the rules? No. The defenses have finally been unleashed, unmuzzled, unshackled. You still can't blitz two from the outside. You can only blitz one linebacker. But
and let me tell you this: it wasn't this rule the way I interpreted it. Okay, it wasn't brought to the forefront to make it harder for the offense. It was brought to the forefront to eliminate challenges for misguided, interpreted,
right.
The
officials had to look at the ground.
They had no idea. Those guys. Come on. Okay. Next question.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It frees up the officials to actually officiate other things as opposed to technicalities. It keeps the game going because there's no challenges on this. Did they twist? Oh no, I had an interception. Hail Mary, I throw down the red flag. We stop the game, and I'm hoping like heck there was a twist or some kind of illegal defense that might have been there, and I can recover the ball and undo that play. That's gone. That's gone.
Yeah.
And
What
so
else?
that's we've discussed And
Okay.
yes, Dave Williams, yes, a defensive lineman, a linebacker, the designated linebacker. There's no gap restriction. There's no restriction as to
I
alley.
think Dave just got a little misty-eyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, the defense is
Okay,
not
so
restriction.
okay, we're beating a dead horse here. Yes. And if you didn't hear, replay it.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Did we have any more on these?
No, that was it. James Palmer chiming in says
I
help
just wanted to
decision come to
address-
play on the field instead of a call.
Okay, I just want to address one other thing besides these.
Okay.
Somebody asked a question about what would be, and I wanted to answer it, and we didn't get an opportunity. What my thoughts were on these leagues all merging together and us having one ginormous
Let me
league.
find that question.
No, it doesn't matter.
Here we go.
I just told you what the question was. Okay. That would be the end of indoor football. My opinion. This is just my opinion. Because what you do is, one is everyone plays differently. Everyone has different sets of rules. And then you say, okay, now we're going to make them all one rule. And now you're going to end up having like 30 teams, 40 teams, right? And then guess what? You're the AF2 and go bankrupt, right? In these markets. The other issue is, to be quite honest with you, who asked the question again? Who was it?
That was, let me bring that up. That was Joseph Rodriguez.
Okay, Joseph. So the other reason is this. If we were to play pretty much, everybody plays indoor football rules right now, it wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fair at this level. This is the major league of indoor football, the IFL. Okay, I'm not taking anything away from other leagues, but it's just the components are different and the players are different and the styles are different. And this is more like the outdoor game than other leagues. We'll just say it that way, politely. Okay, and then it's ownership groups. We have the best ownership groups in the entire country. These guys are vetted. They're this, they're that. Now, someone's going to come back and say, yeah, well, you lost 3 teams last year. One, we lost the lease. Can't do anything about that. The other 2 went dormant. They're not done. And I sat next to the guy who's coming back with the other one. Okay, so I will tell you, this league is going to continue to grow. If you want to really make a great indoor football league, keep following the IFL, follow what Commissioner Tryon's doing, follow your local teams, follow the ownership groups, and just keep your ears open. And I will tell you, there's going to come a point in the not too distant future where we're going to cap out at how many teams are allowed in this league. When you can't buy another team in this league, that's when franchise value is going to go through the roof for our ownership, for our communities, for our cities, for everybody. So we have a new way to watch us this year that's going to be coming out and announced. And trust me, everybody, I know what it is. I wish I could tell you because it is frigging exciting. But we'll talk about it when we can. And so it's that. It's everything that goes with that. It's the Adidas, deal. It's how our presentation is going to be and all of that good stuff. You're right, James. Buy those season tickets, everybody. Because I'll tell you what, our product is graded by the attendance. Sponsors want to know people are going to the games. Sponsors want to know people are viewing. Sponsors want to know that the ownership is solid and that their dollars are going to be protected. All those things are components of it. You're a big part of that. You guys are a huge part of that by your attendance. Guys, please, on March 22nd, we're playing Tulsa. I don't like Tulsa. I want to beat Tulsa. I love the guys that work for Tulsa. I like the ownership for Tulsa. Anybody we play, I don't like. And I want to beat Tulsa, but I want to beat them in front of 8,000 people. I really, really do want to have that thing sold out. And then there's another game. All the games are important, but my birthday is April 24th. I got my whole family flying in from all over the country, all my kids, grandkids, everybody coming in, and we're playing Vegas that Saturday, the 26th. And that's another one. I'm hoping they get to experience 8,000 San Antonio Gunslinger fans and know what I already know and how special that would be. And that goes for every game because, again, these kids our players are away from home. Their connection with you is if you're there. And we really, really want to do that with you. So anyway, are we good? Did we cover everything?
I have a couple questions I want to bring up in the fourth and the et cetera quarter.
Okay, the fourth is going to be 5 minutes tops.
Yes, Mark, do you have a question here? What can we all do to get the word out to fill the stands? Mark Yamaguchi's asking that, and I thought that was appropriate to do right now.
The biggest way you can do that is tell a friend, right? And invite somebody, either invite them personally or tell a friend about your experience. Okay? Because I don't know any family. It's a perfect date night too, because you can take a girl to an indoor football game that's not necessarily a football fan, but it's kind of like taking her someplace where all the other stuff going on is going to create, a nice time. And if you love football, it's a great way to kill two birds with one stone. The other thing is families, the kids. The kids are going to be involved in everything. We got and I'm going to let Mr. Rackler announce it, but we are going to have an unbelievable giveaway this year. And I'll let him talk about that. We're going to do, there's tons of stuff going on, but here's the thing. If you don't buy a ticket to the dance, you can't come. Right? So come once to a game. And like I said, if you come once, you'll come again. You will always keep attending football in San Antonio because it is a great experience. It is a great, great experience.
All right, let's wrap this quarter up and get ready to wrap up the game in the fourth quarter with a quick lightning round of odds and ends so we can put this one to bed. Boy, this has been a heck of a show. You are watching Branded, brought to you by South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital, a tradition of excellence and a legacy of caring. We'll be right back.
We all need hot water. Some of us need more than others. So it's a good thing that State has a wide range of tough commercial-grade water heaters for your home. From standard models to high-efficiency and tankless models, we've got you covered, no matter where you live, what you do, or who started it. To install a State water heater in your home,
Call John Wayne today or visit us at johnwayne.com.
Hey San Antonio, are you tired of the same old chain pizza that tastes like cardboard? I thought we were done eating paper in school. Maybe not. It's up to you. At Matanga's, we bring you flavors that are authentically Texan. We're talking about fresh dough that we made in store every single day. We're talking about cheese that's shredded in store for that authentic cheese flavor. We're talking about brisket because this is Texas, y'all. We're talking about our Texas roll. Can't get those anywhere else. We're talking about Texas ranch because when you put jalapenos and ranch together and you dip it in with pizza, just drink it. Lastly, we got a pothole pizza because we had to name a pizza after our roads. You know what I'm talking about. Can't wait to see you soon. Find a Matanga's near you.
Welcome to South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital, an outpatient center. Step into our operating rooms, where highly skilled surgeons work hand in hand with specialized technicians. Our dedicated team has extensive experience and expertise in spine and surgical procedures. Our commitment to patient safety is unwavering. We understand that your well-being is at the heart of everything we do. South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital, an outpatient center where expertise, longevity, and state-of-the-art technology come together for your health.
Hey dancers, become a San Antonio six-shooter. Tryouts are this weekend, and now is your chance to be part of something uniquely special. The six-shooters are the dance team for the San Antonio Gunslingers, San Antonio's indoor football team. From game day to community experiences, being on the six-shooters is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Build relationships that will last a lifetime and are life-changing. Go to SanAntonioGunslingers.com today for tryout information and to learn more about the San Antonio six-shooters.
And let's get into the lightning round that will be the fourth quarter as we pop up that banner and get back to the comments real quick. There were a couple questions. Dustin Jackson out of Arizona asking, would there ever be an IFL All-Star game? What do you think, Coach?
I think that'd be really hard to do. I have a better idea. I want the IFL champion to play another league's champion. I'd like that. The other thing I brought up to the league was I'm very, very interested, and I think it would be fantastic. Well, let me preface this. Someone said, is there ever a chance that we will have a team in Mexico or Canada or whatever, right? And I said, I personally, I love Canada, but I would never do that because it's just crossing the borders, heightened security all the time. Just trying to get there is a pain. Passports for the guys, how you got to travel, all that kind of stuff. But I said, what we should do is we should have an IFL Canada and we should have an IFL United States because there's like 10,000 arenas in Canada because they're all hockey arenas, right? So every small town has 2 arenas.
Right.
Right. And the only thing you really got to worry about is ceiling height. But if you could get that figured out, find the right ones, you could have a lot of fun. And maybe it'd be a smaller scale, more like an AF2, in the small cities. But I think that would be really good. I got a call from a guy who asked me if I was interested in coaching in Costa Rica.
And I don't think they have a lot of hockey leagues there or hockey rinks.
No, but the way he explained it to me was he goes, yeah, but we get 70,000 people at our soccer games.
Yeah.
And we get a $20 million TV deal every year. And we this and we that. And I said, well, hey, man, good luck to you. God bless you. Yeah. But I think everyone is intrigued somewhat with the idea that wouldn't it be cool if we all got together, right? I would just remind everybody this. Think of Thanksgiving when all the relatives come over. Do you really want that to happen every Saturday?
Changing the subject to keep this moving along, Dave Williams asks about the salary structure this year. Any changes? Any word about that?
No, and the thing about it is that's part of it, and it is so expensive to have a professional football team if you do it right. It's so expensive that there's got to be, this can't be your career as a player, if you follow me, based on your income from 16 Saturdays out of the year,
Right.
It just, unfortunately, it's not there, maybe one day, I would hope so. Cause how I feel about my players and I want them to always have the best of everything, but it's so expensive and everything. The workman's comp alone. Hey, you guys know the horror stories, what I dealt with in New York.
Yes.
$2 million workman's comp. And we had one claim the year before on a team that only has 20 guys, come on. I mean, it's just, it got to the point where it was ridiculous. And so that business model just didn't work anymore, but that happens all over the United States. So it's just housing, food, healthcare, travel, everything. And thank you, Mr. President, as of Monday will change. And, but yeah, what we went through the last 4 years has just been brutal. So.
All right. We did have a couple of admin notes, folks. Do not forget to get your tickets now. The phone number is on the screen. And a couple of other notes. The show digital is now on Spotify. You can listen to it and you can watch it there. There is another location where the season 1, if you wanted to go back and listen to Branded Year 1, I mean, if you are a long haul driver and you've got nothing else to do with your time and you want to hear how this all started.
No, get books on tape. Don't do that to yourself. Yeah.
And up on the Gunslinger website, and I've been trying to push this on the fan site, we now have all 16 games in NFL highlight style available for viewing. And apparently there are people viewing them. 6 of our 16 games have over 100 views, 2 of them over 200 views as of right now. And I'm hoping that that is something that catches on, and share them with your friends, because it's easy to watch a 12-minute video as opposed to making somebody sit down for 3.5 hours to see the full presentation, to see the excitement that is this brand of football and this indoors.
It's fun for sure.
And that will do it. I'm going to do an outro break here, but that'll be it, because Coach has been traveling, and we didn't want to go terribly long.
When I got back, it's just, it was piled on. So, hey, I want a couple things. One is I want to remind everybody, all you young ladies, the 6 shooters, a fantastic group of young women that are offering the opportunity to become one of them. Take advantage of that. If you ever had that same dream as a football player does, making a pro football team, this is about as pro as you can get with the 6 shooters. So I want to encourage everyone to do that. I want to again say happy birthday to our president, James Stubing. Travel safe, my friends. You and Miss Steph and Don and Miss Pam. We miss you. Travel safe, and we'll look forward to seeing you when you get back. And then also, I want to remind everybody that camp is very close. I think we're like 50 days away from camp at this point. So, start getting your tickets. Don't forget, when you pick up the phone and you call, you're going to talk to Jonathan Bain, our quarterback coach, and also ticket manager extraordinaire. So we would love to hear from you. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, we appreciate you sending them in, and we'll try to answer everything for you as we can. So,
and that will do it for our show tonight for January 16th, 2025. Make sure you've liked and subscribed before you go. And now it's time for the coach's good night. A great show, Coach.
Thank you, Ralph. You did great. Aside from
aside from all the things that weren't so great.
Local commercials. No, everything was great.
And thanks to the commissioner for joining us, and Tom Falcinelli for ghosting in the background to make sure that we didn't screw up.
No. What's he going to do? Can't erase it. What, he's going to throw a challenge flag? I'll throw it right back at him like his refs do. No, I wanted to say a couple things. One is want to thank Angie again in South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital. Thank you for your support. We want to bring a championship to this team, and you're a big part of that with your sponsoring this show, along with our many other sponsors. And then next, I want to encourage everybody, for the people in California, take bended knee. And I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what your thoughts are on leaderships. It's the people that we're praying for. And if you can do anything, if you can help, I know Susan and I are doing our best to help in any way we can. But I encourage you to do anything you can and make sure that you're praying for these people. They're going through an absolutely unbelievable time. The pictures on TV don't do it justice, what they're going through. And then Monday, everybody, is inauguration. Let's pray to God for a peaceful transition. No attempts on, President Trump's life, no, craziness. Just pray for peaceful transition and moving forward. And because we live in the greatest country in the world, and we don't need any of that right now. And that's just not something that we want. Lastly, buddy, thank you for a good show. And then I want to say goodnight to my babies, Eli, Liliana, and Mila. It's time to go to bed. Papu loves you. Good night, everybody.
This has been branded for January 16, 2025. And as always, keep your guns up. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Hey, San Antonio, are you tired of the same old chain pizza that tastes like cardboard? I thought we were done eating paper in school. Maybe not. It's up to you. At Matanga's, we bring you flavors that are authentically Texan. We're talking about fresh dough that we made in store every single day. We're talking about cheese that's shredded in store for that authentic cheese flavor. We're talking about brisket because this is Texas, y'all. We're talking about our Texas roll. Can't get those anywhere else. We're talking about Texas ranch because when you put jalapenos and ranch together and you dip it in with pizza, just drink it. Lastly, we got a pothole pizza because we had to name a pizza after our roads. You know what I'm talking about. Can't wait to see you soon. Find a Matanga's near you.
All right, team, huddle up. Just like in surgery, we need precision and teamwork. Trust me, just like on the field, if we stick to the playbook, we'll achieve excellence.
Coach, are you sure about this?
We've trained for this. We're experts. The San Antonio Gunslingers and South Texas Spine and Surgical Hospital and Outpatient Center, where precision meets performance.
This is head coach and general manager Tom Manassi, your San Antonio Gunslingers. We got 8 home games this year that are going to be pretty special. You want to make sure you're part of this. Come help us win the championship. In addition to that, we have free giveaways through the entire season, special theme nights, and all you have to do is call the number below, and we'll make sure we take real good care of you. God bless.